The galaxy had always regarded humans as small, almost insignificant. For centuries, they were known for their trade skills, art, and diplomacy, but never for war. Most alien races thought humanity could not survive a true conflict, and many dismissed Earth as just another quiet planet on the edge of the galaxy. That perception changed the day the Valiant Dawn appeared. It was a ship unlike any other. Massive, angular, and almost intimidating in its size, it drifted into the orbit of the Galactic Peace Summit space station. Its hull was dark, almost black, marked with scars that hinted at countless battles. Unlike the ships of other species, it had no glowing crystals, no pulsing energy veins. Its power source remained a mystery, and the way it moved was smooth, almost silent, as though the ship itself understood the meaning of patience. Inside the station, the atmosphere shifted. Delegates from hundreds of species stared at the arrival. Their eyes widened as the massive warship entered docking range. The council had invited humanity as guests, not expecting them to bring such a massive vessel. Whispers filled the corridors, growing louder with every passing minute. "Why would they need a warship here?" muttered a diplomat from the Zarnok cluster. "Are they showing off?" asked another, a green-scaled representative from the Felyari species. The truth, however, was far from a simple display of arrogance. Humanity had come prepared, but not to boast. They had come to remind the galaxy that survival required vigilance, and that strength was often the only language respected by others. Admiral Celine Ward stepped onto the docking platform with calm confidence. She was human, but she carried herself with a quiet authority that commanded attention. Her dark hair was pulled back neatly, her uniform crisp and clean. Unlike the flamboyant uniforms of other species, her attire was simple, practical, and powerful in its own way. "Admiral Ward," a voice called. One of the council assistants approached, holding a data pad. "You weren't supposed to bring this?" "I brought exactly what was needed," Celine replied with a calm smile. "Sometimes words are not enough. Sometimes action must speak first." She ignored the murmurs around her and walked toward the council chamber, her steps steady and assured. Every eye in the hall followed her. Even the most skeptical delegates felt a strange sense of respect. Not fear, but respect. Humans were small, but they carried a confidence that other species had long forgotten. Inside the council chamber, delegates waited in tense silence. Hundreds of species had come together to discuss peace treaties, trade disputes, and territorial boundaries. Now humanity had arrived not as a minor participant, but as a presence impossible to ignore. "Why is your ship here?" asked one of the alien council members, a tall, thin being with silver skin that shimmered in the light. "This is a summit for diplomacy, not for war." Celine looked at him calmly. "Because peace," she said, "is only respected when strength is understood." The words were simple, but the meaning was clear. Strength and capability were not threats, they were assurances. The council had long relied on diplomacy, treaties, and clever negotiations. Humans had learned that words alone were fragile. Power gave words meaning. Meanwhile, in orbit above the station, the Valiant Dawn rested silently. Its crew moved with precision inside, checking systems, monitoring sensors, and ensuring that the ship was ready for anything. Every human aboard knew their role, and every role mattered. They were not relying on machines alone. They were the machines, the brains, the hands, and the hearts of the vessel. Despite its size, the Dawn seemed almost alive. It shifted slightly in orbit, responding to gravitational currents and the subtle energies of the station. Other ships could not match its subtlety. Many had tried to understand its systems through scans, but the readings came back empty. The engines, weapons, and shields appeared to exist, yet provided no measurable output. Other species scratched their heads, wondering how this human creation functioned at all. Back in the council chamber, debates began quietly. Some representatives whispered that humanity was reckless, that they had no right to bring a warship to such a delicate meeting. Others were intrigued. If humans could build something so powerful and efficient, what else might they be capable of? Celine remained calm. She didn't need to explain everything yet. Actions would speak soon enough. Hours later, the first sign of trouble arrived. An unexpected signal blinked on the council's monitoring system. A group of rogue pirates had entered the sector, moving at high speed toward the station. They were known for attacking settlements, trade convoys, and even unprotected planets. The Council's fleet scrambled, but their ships were outdated, slow, and poorly coordinated. Human ship? One of the commanders asked nervously. Can they? Celine didn't answer. She already knew what to do. A silent command ran through the Valiant Dawn, and the ship shifted from passive orbit to active defense mode. Its hull glowed faintly, not with visible energy, but with something harder to measure. Intent. The pirates arrived expecting an easy strike. They had never faced humans before. They didn't know what waited for them in orbit. The Valiant Dawn moved like a predator, and in moments it struck. Rail cannons fired with pinpoint accuracy. Pirate ships were split in half with terrifying precision, their engines torn apart before they could react. It happened so fast that many council members barely registered the battle. 50 pirate vessels were destroyed in less than 3 minutes. Not one human ship was harmed. Not one human life lost. The council watched, stunned. This cannot be possible, whispered one alien delegate. Their technology, it defies physics. Celine's face remained calm, but a faint smile touched her lips. The truth was simple. Humans didn't rely on exotic technology alone. Their greatest weapon was their ability to adapt, to think, and to work together under pressure. Every calculation, every movement of the Dawn had been coordinated by human minds, not machines. When the last pirate vessel exploded, silence fell. Even the Council, which had grown used to impressive displays of technology from other species, was speechless. Humans had arrived quietly and in a single moment reminded the galaxy why they could not be ignored. Do you understand now? Celine asked quietly, though not to anyone in particular. This is what it means to be human. We protect what we value, and we do not wait for permission to act when others are in danger. The Council would discuss this incident for days. Some argued that humanity's actions were reckless, dangerous even. Others began to see the truth. Humans were not reckless. They were responsible. They were disciplined. And most importantly, they were united. The Valiant Dawn remained in orbit, silent and ready. Its crew moved with quiet efficiency, preparing for any new threat that might appear. Humans had shown their strength, but they also knew that the galaxy would not forget. Allies and enemies alike were now aware that humans had arrived on the stage of the stars, not as weak observers, but as forces to be reckoned with. As night fell over the station, the massive warship rested against the stars, almost blending with the dark void of space. Yet within its hull life thrummed. Crew members walked the corridors, laughed quietly, and monitored their instruments. Every system was ready, every weapon poised, every mind alert. And at the center of it all, Admiral Celine Ward stood on the command bridge, gazing at the galaxy before her. She knew that this was only the beginning. The Council might have doubts and rival species might plot, but humans had something none of them could match: courage, unity, and the relentless will to survive. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. That mistake had just been corrected. The legend of the Valiant Dawn was only beginning. The victory over the pirate fleet sent ripples through the Galactic Council. While other species had impressive technology, the humans had done something no one could explain. The Valiant Dawn had destroyed 50 ships in under 3 minutes, yet produced almost no energy signature. Sensors had picked up nothing that could account for the destruction. It was as though the humans had bent the rules of physics itself. For weeks after the battle, delegates discussed what they had witnessed. Some argued that humanity must possess forbidden technology, something so advanced it threatened the balance of the galaxy. Others whispered that the ship was alive, that it might be more than just a machine. But back aboard the Valiant Dawn, Admiral Celine Ward and her crew treated the incident as routine. To them, it was simply the result of preparation, coordination, and skill. Nothing more. Humans did not believe in magic or luck. They relied on planning, adaptability, and trust in each other. That combination, as they had proven, was unstoppable. It was early morning on the station when the next threat appeared. A massive fleet, unlike the pirates, emerged from a nearby star system. These ships were sleek, advanced, and clearly built for war. Their markings identified them as the Zevrathi, a militaristic species known for conquering weaker civilizations. The Zevrathi had not yet been at war with humanity, but they were about to test what they considered a minor species. The alarms on the Valiant Dawn echoed softly through the command bridge. Crew members moved swiftly, executing protocols they had drilled countless times. Each station was a human, each human a critical part of the ship. There were no advanced AI systems controlling them. Instead, the minds of the crew worked in perfect harmony, anticipating every move, every strategy. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Rena Kaur, her voice steady. "They are closing in at high speed. Our scans show multiple energy weapons faster than anything we have faced before." Celine nodded calmly. "Good. Let's see if their speed can match our focus." The Valiant Dawn responded immediately. Its hull shimmered faintly with magnetic fields invisible to standard sensors. It glided forward silently, positioning itself between the Zevrathi fleet and the station. While the aliens prepared for battle, they detected nothing unusual. No shields, no energy buildup, no weapon charge, and then the dawn struck. It began with the rail cannons firing not in a broad blast but in precise, calculated strikes. Each shot targeted critical points in the Zevrathi vessels: engines, navigation cores, and power conduits. Ships exploded silently, as though they had been cut by invisible blades. The Zevrathi fleet scrambled, confused by the humans' ability to anticipate their maneuvers. Sensors on the Zevrathi command ship went wild. "Impossible," the captain hissed. "Their energy readings, nothing is showing. Are they even using power?" The dawn moved with uncanny precision. Every human aboard knew the exact moment to fire, to maneuver, to shield one another. The ship seemed to flow as a single entity, controlled not by computers but by human minds. In the council chambers, delegates watched the battle unfold through holographic feeds. Some were amazed. Others were frightened. A few whispered about ancient prophecies of a species that could bend war itself through willpower. "Are they controlling the ship with their minds?" asked a small voice from the Zarnok delegation. "No," said another, shaking his head. "That's impossible. The ship is mechanical. It should require energy signatures, AI control, something, anything." But the truth was simple. The humans had no extraordinary engine, no forbidden technology. The real weapon was human ingenuity and unity. Every decision, every action, every calculation flowed from the crew's combined intelligence. The Valiant Dawn was an extension of their will. The battle raged for several hours. Zevrathi missiles and energy beams struck the Dawn, yet the ship seemed untouchable. It dodged, redirected, and countered with near-perfect timing. Every attack the Zevrathi launched was neutralized before it could reach the station. Every maneuver the aliens attempted was anticipated and countered. Meanwhile, the human crew communicated silently, using gestures, signals, and intuition. No words were wasted. They had trained for this, knowing that in space hesitation could mean death, and the Dawn thrived on their focus. After what felt like an eternity, the Zevrathi fleet was forced to retreat. Less than a dozen of their ships survived, limping back to their system. The humans had not destroyed the fleet entirely. They had simply neutralized the threat without unnecessary casualties. The Valiant Dawn had demonstrated power, but also restraint. As the Zevrathi ships disappeared, the Council erupted into chaos. Some representatives wanted to declare humans a threat and ban their technology immediately. Others were awestruck by the skill and coordination displayed. Selene stood on the bridge watching the last of the Zevrathi disappear from sensor range. She did not gloat, nor did she celebrate. The humans had done what they were trained to do: protect those who could not protect themselves, and ensure that violence was met with precision, not recklessness. Lieutenant Rena Kaur approached, her expression unreadable. "Admiral, the Council will be demanding answers. They will want to know what makes the Dawn so powerful." Celine's gaze remained on the empty void beyond. "Let them try," she said softly. "Some things are not meant to be fully understood. What matters is that we have shown them what humanity is capable of. That alone will change their calculations forever." Meanwhile, in the Zevrathi fleet, reports came in that baffled even the most advanced analysts. The energy readings from the Dawn were nearly zero. There was no heat signature, no unusual radiation, nothing that could explain its devastating effectiveness. Some suggested that the humans had discovered a new type of energy manipulation. Others suspected telepathic control. Back on the Valiant Dawn, the crew continued their drills and maintenance routines. For them, the battle was over, but training never stopped. Humanity had survived centuries on Earth by preparing for every possible scenario. That instinct had not disappeared among the stars. In the council chambers, debates raged late into the night. Many alien delegates feared that humans might be unstoppable if they chose to expand their military reach. Others argued that the humans had only used force in defense, not aggression. Still, the question lingered. If humans were capable of such precision and unity, what might they achieve with no limits? Celine knew that the Council's fear was not unjustified. Humans were unpredictable, disciplined, and united. Unlike other species that relied on advanced AI technology or sheer numbers, humans had one advantage no one could replicate: determination. That would always be their edge. Later, as the crew rested, Celine walked the corridors of the Valiant Dawn. She passed stations where engineers repaired minor hull damage, where communications officers checked reports, and where young cadets studied navigation maps. Each human was a vital part of the ship. Their focus, courage, and skill were the true power of the vessel. She paused near the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was vast, filled with civilizations that underestimated humanity. But that was changing. Every action, every battle, every calculated move showed the galaxy that humans were not weak, not naive, and certainly not to be dismissed. Somewhere far away, a Zevrathi commander stared at his monitors in disbelief. "They are not like anything we have ever faced," he muttered. "It is not their weapons, it is them." Indeed, the Valiant Dawn's true weapon was not in its cannons or armor. It was the humans themselves, their unity, their focus, their willingness to face danger without fear. The ship amplified their abilities, but it was their minds and hearts that made it unstoppable. As the night passed and the stars spun slowly overhead, the Council's debates continued. But aboard the Dawn, humans slept, trained, and prepared quietly. They had made their statement. The galaxy had taken notice, and soon, every species would understand that humanity was not a minor presence. They were a force that could not be ignored. The legend of the Valiant Dawn had grown. Its first true battle had shown the galaxy that humans were more than small traders or artists. They were adaptable, resourceful, and united in a way that no machine could replicate, and they had only just begun. The Galactic Council had never faced a situation like this. Humans had arrived with a massive warship, destroyed fleets of raiders and an advanced alien force, and yet they had not harmed anyone unnecessarily. Their actions were precise, disciplined, and undeniable, and yet the Council was uneasy. The Council chambers buzzed with tension as representatives from hundreds of species gathered. Some were fearful, some angry, and some simply astonished. A new vote had been called, not for war, but for inquiry. Humanity was to answer for their actions. They were accused of creating a weapon too powerful for peace, a threat that could destabilize the galaxy if left unchecked. Admiral Celine Ward entered the chamber calmly, her steps measured and her expression unreadable. She did not glance at the murmuring delegates. She had faced more challenges than any of them could imagine, and she knew that today, patience and clarity were her greatest weapons. "You are accused of bringing a warship to a peaceful summit," the Council's speaker began, a tall, blue-scaled being whose voice resonated with authority. "You have displayed power that exceeds known limits. You have acted without permission, and your actions could have destroyed this entire gathering. How do you respond?" Celine straightened her posture. "I respond with truth," she said, her voice calm but firm. "The Valiant Dawn was here to protect, not to threaten. Every action we took was in defense of life, of peace, and of those who cannot protect themselves. That is the purpose of strength, to defend, not to destroy." Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. Their species often relied on weapons to threaten, to conquer, or to intimidate. Humans were different. They did not crave domination, yet they had the power to command respect in a way that few could match. "Peace is maintained by trust," a council member argued, "not by overwhelming power. By bringing this ship here, you have forced others to fear humanity rather than respect it. This cannot be ignored." Celine's eyes swept the chamber. "Trust is fragile. It can be broken with lies, with betrayal, or with cowardice. Humans have learned long ago that words are insufficient. Action guided by principle is what preserves life. We did not come to intimidate. We came to ensure that those who threaten peace are stopped before harm comes to others." The chamber fell silent. The delegates were not used to such clarity, such calm conviction. Most had spent centuries maneuvering through politics, power plays, and alliances. Humans had cut through all that with a simple, undeniable principle: protect life. The council demanded to know more about the Valiant Dawn. What powered it? How could it move and fight with such precision without detectable energy output? Was it an AI? A weapon of forbidden knowledge, or something else entirely? Celine smiled faintly but did not answer directly. The Dawn is powered by something older and stronger than any engine you know. It is powered by human will, by determination, by courage. Its systems amplify the best of who we are. Its strength is not artificial. It is human. Some delegates laughed nervously. Surely she spoke metaphorically, they thought. Human will could not power a starship, not in a galaxy filled with advanced technologies, quantum engines, and interstellar energy grids. Yet when they glanced at the ship in orbit, there was a sense of truth behind her words. The humans had done what no one else could do. Their presence alone had saved the summit. A group of inspectors was called to board the Valiant Dawn. They were experts in engineering, weapon systems, and energy physics. Their orders were clear. Determine the source of the ship's power and report whether it posed a threat. When they entered the ship, they expected to find alien technology far beyond human understanding. Instead, they found systems built with simplicity and redundancy. Every panel, every wire, every control could be manually operated by a human. Every subsystem had backups. If one part failed, another would take over. The ship was not fragile. It was adaptable. The inspectors finally reached the heart of the ship, a glowing core of energy, unlike anything they had seen. Some of the aliens thought it might be a reactor fueled by forbidden matter or a sentient AI. But when they observed the crew, they realized the truth. The humans were not just operating the ship. They were connected to it, as though their minds guided the vessel itself. Every focus, every calculation, every instinct from the crew became part of the ship's power. This is impossible, whispered one inspector. It's as if the ship fights with their minds. Not with their minds alone, Celine said quietly, appearing beside them. With their hearts, their determination, courage, and unity. That is what powers the Valiant Dawn. Not magic, not forbidden knowledge, not advanced alien science. Humans. We amplify ourselves through teamwork and focus. The aliens stared. Their disbelief mingled with awe. Nothing they had ever studied could compare. Other species built machines for war, relying on AI, drones, or exotic energy. Humans relied on themselves and their ability to think, adapt, and act together. That was their true weapon. The council convened again to review the findings. The debate was heated. Some delegates argued that humanity was too dangerous, that such a weapon could not be allowed to exist. Others countered that humans had only acted defensively and with precision, never harming more than necessary. Humanity is not a threat in itself, Celine addressed the council. It is a species capable of incredible action, yes, but our actions are guided by principle, not ambition. We are not conquerors. We are protectors, and protectors are always feared by those who wish to harm the weak. A pause fell over the chamber. The words resonated, not just because of their meaning, but because of the undeniable demonstration that had just occurred. Humanity had shown that strength could coexist with morality. That power could be guided by ethics, not fear. Yet fear remained. Some delegates could not ignore the implications. If humans had such control over their ship, what else might they do? What if they chose to expand their military reach? What if they decided to enforce their will across the galaxy? Celine anticipated these concerns. We have shown you the Dawn's power, yes, but its power is only meaningful when we choose to act with responsibility. Strength without restraint is dangerous. Humans know this. That is why we act carefully, guided by principle. Even so, the council could not dismiss the potential threat. A special committee was formed to monitor the humans, to ensure that their power did not grow unchecked. Surveillance systems were installed, and inspections were conducted regularly. Yet no one could deny what had been achieved. Humans had survived, adapted, and acted with precision where other species might have panicked or failed. Back aboard the Valiant Dawn, the crew continued their routines. They trained, repaired, and prepared quietly. They knew that the Council's judgment was only part of the challenge. The galaxy itself had taken note of humanity, and curiosity, suspicion, and awe would follow them everywhere. Celine walked the corridors, observing her crew. Engineers worked on repairs, officers reviewed sensor logs, and young cadets practiced drills. Each person was a critical part of the ship. The Dawn was not just a machine, It was a living representation of human capability. The humans aboard did not boast or celebrate. They understood that their strength was a responsibility. It was not enough to defeat enemies. They had to act wisely, with courage and with focus. That was what made them dangerous in the eyes of the galaxy, and admirable to those who understood their true nature. As the night passed, Selene returned to the command bridge. She gazed at the stars stretching endlessly into space. The galaxy was vast, filled with civilizations that had long underestimated humanity. That perception was changing quickly. The Council could argue, debate, and monitor, but they could not deny what humans had accomplished. The valiant dawn had shown the galaxy that humans were capable of precision, discipline, and unity unmatched by any other species. That was their greatest weapon, and the galaxy would never forget it. Somewhere in quiet corners of the galaxy, rumors began to spread. Tales of the human warship that acted with thought, precision, and heart. Stories of humans who could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast entire fleets. The legend of the valiant dawn was growing, and with it the reputation of humanity as a species that could not be ignored. For now, the Council had postponed any final judgment. But they would watch, study, and plan. Humans had changed the rules of the galaxy, and every species knew it. And aboard the valiant dawn, the crew trained, prepared, and waited. They were ready for the next challenge, whatever it might be. For humans, survival was not just instinct. It was a choice guided by courage, intelligence, and unity. The trial of humanity had begun, but the true test was still to come. The Galactic Council had grown uneasy. Humanity had proven its power, yet refused to reveal its secrets. Whispers filled the chambers. How could a single human ship defeat advanced fleets? How could humans survive attacks that would destroy other species' ships? The answers lay not in exotic energy nor in alien technology, but in something no one expected. To uncover the truth, a special inspection team was granted permission to board the Valiant Dawn. The team consisted of engineers, scientists, and military analysts from various species. They expected to find strange engines, forbidden matter cores, or perhaps a sentient AI controlling the ship. What they discovered instead stunned them. When the inspectors entered the ship, they were immediately struck by the simplicity of its design. Unlike alien warships, which often relied on complex energy matrices, crystal conduits, or living biomachines, the Dawn appeared almost ordinary. Its panels, circuits, and conduits were modular, each system clearly labeled and accessible. "You expect some hidden engine," Selene said, appearing beside them. Her voice was calm, measured, yet carried authority. "You will find none. What powers this ship is not exotic matter or alien intelligence. It is something older, something stronger. Human ingenuity, focus, and unity." The inspectors were skeptical. That is impossible," one whispered. "A ship cannot survive battles, maneuver with such precision, and operate with no detectable energy without some advanced technology." Selene guided them through the corridors. Humans worked quietly at every station, monitoring systems, adjusting controls, and coordinating maneuvers. No one was asleep, and no one relied on automated controls. Each human's mind was a part of the ship, guiding it through calculations, strategy, and action. The team was led to the central chamber, where the core of the Dawn glowed faintly. At first glance, it appeared to be a reactor, but closer inspection revealed something different. It was a neural interface, synchronized with the crew's collective focus. Every crew member's thoughts, decisions, and instincts fed into the ship's systems. Their unity allowed the Dawn to operate with incredible precision and adaptability. "You mean, the ship fights with their minds?" one inspector asked, unable to hide the awe in their voice. Selene nodded. "Not just their minds. Their determination, courage, and discipline. Each human aboard contributes to every action. Every maneuver, every shot, every defensive move is a product of their will, amplified by the ship. That is the secret you are seeking." The aliens exchanged stunned glances. They had seen AI-controlled fleets, sentient starships, and exotic weapons beyond comprehension. None had ever witnessed a system powered by unity, by collective human will. One engineer stepped forward, examining the control panels. This is remarkable. Each system is accessible, redundant, and repairable. If one module fails, another takes over seamlessly. And yet the ship's efficiency remains. "Perfect." "Yes," Selene replied. "Every part of the ship can be repaired by hand. Every system functions independently. The Valiant Dawn is not fragile. It is adaptable. It does not rely on a single point of failure. And above all, it relies on its crew, not a machine, not an AI, not forbidden technology. The inspectors moved cautiously through the vessel, inspecting engines, weapons, and shields. Nothing appeared unusual. No energy readings spiked. No exotic matter was detected. Yet the ship's performance in battle had been unmatched. It was a paradox that defied their understanding. "This is incredible," one scientist murmured. "The ship's power is not in its technology. It is in its crew. Its weapon is human focus, human teamwork, and human courage." Celine smiled faintly. "That is correct. You can measure energy, count drones, or examine engines. But you cannot measure will, determination, or unity. That is why humans are dangerous, not because of what we build, but because of who we are and how we work together." As the inspection continued, the aliens began to see the subtle ways humans amplified their abilities. The crew communicated silently, anticipating each other's actions. Movement was precise, decisions instantaneous. The Dawn did not merely react. It predicted, adapted, and executed flawlessly. Every system was tuned not to respond automatically, but to reflect the intent of the crew. The inspectors reached the weapons control deck. It was staffed by humans calmly observing sensor readings and plotting trajectories. A single gesture, a nod, or a glance between them could coordinate devastating attacks on multiple targets. The precision was unmatched. "You see," Celine said, "this is why the Dawn is more than a ship. It is a reflection of humanity. Our strength is not in numbers nor in exotic weapons. It is in our ability to think, act, and adapt together. That is what makes humans formidable." The aliens were silent. They had expected engines, energy cores, or advanced technology. Instead, they found simplicity, discipline, and human will manifested as power. It was almost impossible to comprehend. Finally, the inspection team was escorted to the observation deck. Through the windows, the vastness of space stretched endlessly, and the humans aboard moved with purpose and focus. Every station was active, every human contributing to the collective strength of the ship. This cannot be replicated," one inspector admitted. "No AI, no technology, no alien race could do this. Only humans could make a ship fight with their minds and hearts." "That is extraordinary," Celine nodded. "That is why we are different. We do not rely solely on technology. We rely on ourselves, and when we work together, our potential becomes limitless." The aliens left the Dawn with a new understanding. Humanity was no longer a minor species. It was a force that combined ingenuity, courage, and unity in ways the galaxy had never seen. The ship itself was merely a tool. The crew was the true power. When the report was submitted to the Galactic Council, the chamber erupted in debate. Some argued that humans were too dangerous to be allowed such freedom. Others marveled at their discipline and focus, admitting that no species could rival the Dawn's precision. The Council called for a vote. The question was simple. Should the Valiant Dawn be allowed to continue operating freely, or should it be restricted to prevent potential abuse? The debate lasted for days. Delegates argued, pleaded, and warned of what might happen if humans' true power were unleashed. Meanwhile, the Dawn continued its patrols quietly. The crew trained, repaired, and prepared. They did not celebrate their reputation. They knew that vigilance was the true measure of strength. Humans survived because they planned, adapted, and never stopped improving. The galaxy could fear them, debate them, or study them, but humans would continue to do what they had always done: survive and protect. Finally, the Council reached a decision. The Valiant Dawn was declared too powerful for unrestricted use. It would be monitored closely, restricted from entering certain sectors, and its deployment would require approval. Many species were relieved while others were unsettled. Humanity had been recognized as a force the galaxy could not ignore. On the Dawn, Celine received the news quietly. She nodded at her crew. "The galaxy fears our potential," she said softly, "but that is no reason to stop being who we are. We act not out of fear, nor out of ambition, but out of principle. That is why the Dawn exists, and that is why humanity endures." As the ship moved silently through the stars, the crew continued their work. Engineers repaired minor hull damage. Officers recalculated patrol routes, and cadets trained in the art of precision and teamwork. Each human aboard contributed to the strength of the ship. The Dawn was more than metal and circuits. It was the embodiment of human unity, discipline, and courage. Far away, alien fleets observed the humans quietly. Rumors spread across the galaxy. A species that could synchronize their minds, act as one, and wield incredible power without the need for exotic technology. A species that could not be predicted, controlled, or ignored. The legend of the Valiant Dawn grew. Tales of its power, precision, and discipline circulated among fleets and colonies. Humans were no longer seen as minor traders or diplomats. They were a force that had mastered themselves and, in doing so, had created a weapon unlike any other. And aboard the ship itself, life continued as always. Humans trained, repaired, and prepared for challenges yet unseen. The galaxy could fear them, restrict them, or debate them, but the Dawn would remain ready. Its secret was simple. Its true power was human, not machine, and nothing in the galaxy could change that. The Valiant Dawn moved forward silently, a symbol of what humans could achieve when they worked together, and a warning that the galaxy would never again underestimate humanity. The Galactic Council's deliberations were long and heated. Human ingenuity had been proven beyond doubt. The Valiant Dawn had demonstrated unmatched power, adaptability, and precision. Yet for many delegates, its very existence was unsettling. No species had ever wielded such force without relying on forbidden matter, advanced AI, or overwhelming numbers. Humans had done it with something simpler, themselves. A vote was finally called. The decision was difficult but unanimous in one point. The Valiant Dawn was too powerful to exist without limits. While humanity had used its strength responsibly, the Council feared what could happen if such power fell into the wrong hands or if humans were ever misunderstood. The verdict was clear. The warship was to be banned from active deployment in any known system. Its weapons were to be disabled, and its operations heavily restricted. Many species breathed a collective sigh of relief. Others, however, could not shake the uneasy feeling that something remarkable was being restrained, something the galaxy would one day regret limiting. On board the Valiant Dawn, Admiral Celine Ward received the news quietly. She had anticipated it. Humans had always known that the galaxy might fear their strength, and that recognition of power often came with restrictions. But she did not show disappointment. Instead, she regarded the outcome with clarity and resolve. "This is only temporary," she told her crew. "The galaxy fears our potential now, but it will not always do so. Our mission remains the same: protect those who cannot protect themselves wherever we can reach." Her crew nodded silently, understanding the balance between power and responsibility. Humans did not fight for glory or conquest. They acted out of principle, and that was why they had survived, evolved, and thrived even in a universe that had once underestimated them. Despite the Council's ruling, humanity did not dismantle the Dawn. The ship had become more than a vessel of war. It was a symbol of human unity, ingenuity, and courage. Instead, it disappeared from monitored space lanes. Some believed the humans had hidden it in uncharted regions, patrolling the dark spaces between stars. Others whispered that it waited silently, observing, protecting, and ready to act when the galaxy needed it most. News of the Dawn's disappearance traveled fast. Alien fleets, traders, and colonies spoke in hushed tones of the ship that had fought with no visible energy, no AI, and no exotic weaponry. It was said to be alive in a way no other vessel could be, alive because of the humans who powered it with focus, unity, and courage. On distant worlds, young cadets and students learned of the humans' legend. They spoke of the warship that could face 50 pirate vessels alone, neutralize a Zavrathi fleet, and do it all with seemingly impossible precision. It was not just a story of machines and firepower. It was a story of human determination, resourcefulness, and will. Back aboard the hidden Valiant Dawn, life continued as usual. The crew trained, repaired systems, and monitored sectors quietly. Every human aboard knew that their true strength lay not in the ship itself, but in their cooperation and discipline. They could defend themselves, protect others, and navigate the dangers of the galaxy because they trusted one another and worked together. Celine walked the corridors, observing her crew. Engineers calibrated systems, officers reviewed tactical simulations, and cadets practiced maneuvers. Everything they did strengthened the bond between the humans and the ship. They were not simply operating a machine. They were a collective mind, each individual's courage and focus amplifying the others. "This ship is more than steel and circuits," Celine said softly to Lieutenant Rena Kaur, her second-in-command. "It is a reflection of who we are. The galaxy may try to ban it, study it, or fear it, but it cannot take that away from us. Not our unity, not our focus, not our will," Rena nodded, "and it will remain ready wherever we are needed." "Exactly," Celine replied. "The galaxy will come to understand what it means to underestimate humanity. That is a lesson best learned quietly." In time, rumors began to spread. Traders in distant systems spoke of a black warship appearing suddenly in dangerous sectors, neutralizing threats without warning, and disappearing just as quickly. Colonists whispered of humans who defended them against pirates and raiders, acting with precision, courage, and foresight that no other species could match. The legend of the Valiant Dawn grew. It became a symbol of human ingenuity and resilience, proof that even in a galaxy filled with advanced technology and powerful empires, humans could achieve the impossible. It was not just a story of a ship or a battle. It was a story of what humanity could do when united, determined, and courageous. Some fleets attempted to track the Dawn, hoping to study its systems or challenge its power. None succeeded. The ship was elusive, not because it relied on stealth technology, but because it moved with purpose, guided by humans who understood how to survive and adapt. It could be anywhere, yet everywhere it was needed, appearing in the right place at the right moment. On board, the crew continued to uphold their mission. Their strength was not meant for conquest nor for vengeance. It was meant to protect, to preserve life, and to ensure that the weak had a chance to survive in a galaxy that could be cruel and unforgiving. As decades passed, the story of the Valiant Dawn became legend. Children on faraway worlds dreamed of humans and their incredible ship. Scholars studied reports of its battles but could never fully explain them. Pilots who survived encounters with humans spoke of precision and calmness that defied the chaos of war. Humanity's reputation grew not through fear, but through respect earned by courage, discipline, and unwavering principle. Even as centuries passed, the Dawn continued its patrols. Its systems were maintained meticulously, its crew trained rigorously, and its presence known only when necessary. Humanity had taken a simple truth and turned it into a force unmatched. That strength guided by principle, unity, and courage could achieve wonders no machine, AI, or alien weapon could replicate. One evening, as the ship drifted silently through a nebula, Celine stood on the observation deck gazing at the stars. The vastness of space stretched endlessly before her, filled with opportunities, challenges, and threats. Yet she felt calm because she knew the truth. The galaxy might fear humans, but it could never take away what made them strong. Their courage, ingenuity, and unity were theirs alone, and nothing could diminish that. "The Council may have banned the ship," she said to Rena beside her, "but they cannot ban what humanity represents. Our strength, our will, our unity, that is unstoppable. That is what the Dawn carries into the stars." Rena smiled faintly. "And they will remember it, even if they do not understand it." Celine nodded. "Yes, one day the galaxy will see, and when that day comes, it will know why humans cannot be ignored." The Valiant Dawn moved forward silently, a shadow in the darkness, a guardian of life, and a testament to human determination. It was a ship powered not by technology alone, but by the hearts, minds, and courage of its crew. Its legend would inspire generations across planets, systems, and stars, reminding all that humanity was a species to be reckoned with, clever, brave, and united. And somewhere in the deep reaches of space, the humans aboard continued their silent vigil. They would act whenever injustice arose, whenever the weak were threatened, and whenever the galaxy called for those who were willing to stand together. The Council had tried to limit them. Other species had tried to predict them. Yet the humans and their incredible warship remained beyond their control. Their legend grew quietly, patiently, and inexorably. For as long as humans remained united, determined, and courageous, the Valiant Dawn would endure. It would remain a symbol of what humans could achieve when they worked together, a warning to those who underestimated them, and a promise to all who needed protection that someone would always watch over the galaxy. And thus, the Valiant Dawn became more than a warship. It became a legend of humans who fought not with fear, not with hatred, not with unchecked power, but with unity, courage, and principle. And the galaxy would never forget them.